I want to point out before we even hear one word out of Alan Jackson's mouth, let's remember what he said about every single thing they did and said publicly in interviews, including Karen Reed, was curated, was planned, and had a purpose. And let's remember that as we listen to this. So I think this is Jackson, again, very intelligently setting up what is to come. It's not over. They still have a lot of work to do. So they have a media plan. Everything is curated. Everything is planned. This is how a lawyer should handle media relations.
It cost her everything. It cost her her life, her reputation, her job, her professorship.
You know what this sounds like, folks? Damages for the 1983 action. That's what it sounds like. What's he explaining? What happened to Karen Reed? That is what damages are. What has been taken from you by the actions? What did the civil rights violation do? I'm behind, but wanted to ask if the civil trial is streamed. So good trouble. I'm not going to answer this question, not because I'm being a jerk, but because it's coming later in this interview and Alan Jackson gives us his thoughts on it. So great question. And that's what's so cool about this interview. There were so many nuggets from it. What further evidence can she bring in that she couldn't in the criminal trial? Michelle, again, another great question that Alan Jackson is going to answer for you later in this interview.
This is a very different lawsuit. It's not a criminal lawsuit, and it's certainly not being governed by Judge Beverly Cannoni, who kept out so much of that information. That's why you're seeing it on social media rather than having seen it in the courtroom. All of it was relevant. We attempted to get most of it in, and we were denied, both in the first trial and the second trial. So this new lawsuit is probably a very good platform, I would suggest to you, for a lot of that information to be aired out completely. So yeah, I don't. That's not the last you're going to see of that information.
So Michelle, to answer your question, yes, Alan Jackson thinks there's going to be a lot of new information and evidence coming out, a lot of which they tried to get into in the criminal case. Cannoni wouldn't let it happen.
Civil trial not live streamed, correct?
Doubtful. No,
Okay.
there hasn't been a request, a media request that I'm aware of, and who knows what the judge would do in that case, but it's very, very unlikely. Very unlikely.